Good afternoon, my peeps. I hope everybody's having a great Christmas season. This is Martin from South Carolina via New York. I actually put this particular item on my Christmas list and Santa delivered. So this is a video that's going to cover the unboxing, which it's unboxed already, the Rockville RockGhost V2. It's a spare tire subwoofer, and it's going to complement my already installed Joying aftermarket Android head unit. I have that paired in my front stage to a recoil DI 1800.4 that can be converted to 5-channel amplifier. My front stage also consists of Kenwood KVC 6966S front stage 6x9 speakers. So I have a pair in the doors and a pair on the back deck behind the back window. So what comes in this package: wire loom, the positive cable that runs from the cab to the battery, the ground wire, the blue remote turn on wire. And for those that don't know, a remote turn on wire is what you wire to an AC outlet that switches on with your ignition. It tells the amplifier when to switch on and when to switch off so that you don't drain your battery. Also, it comes with RCA cables that are long enough to reach from the trunk of a mid-size sedan to a pickup truck all the way to the head unit console. This particular RCA cable is a dual RCA cable. My Joying head unit is a single sub out, so I'm going to have to augment or modify the cable to accommodate, make it basically a Y connection to accommodate the single sub out channel on my Joying head unit. Also, it comes with different terminations for the end of the wires, the remote that's going to wire all the way from where the subwoofer is going to go to the front. I'm probably going to mount that somewhere either in the middle console or right against the middle console so that I can have access to it. And what the remote controls is gain, bass boost, and phase. And it allows you to manipulate how much power basically that you want to initiate when the subwoofer is engaged with music. Also, it comes with a terminal to terminate the wire connections from the front to the rear into the subwoofer. Also comes with a mounting bolt and an adapter. What really attracted me to the Rockville RockGhost V2 is the price. It is a fraction of the cost of the competitive spare tire subs that are on the market, which are the JBL, Bass Pro, and there's a Cerwin-Vega model. They boast a 600 watt RMS value, whereas this is 200 watts, which is more than enough for a daily driver. I believe this unit was less than 200 bucks. I believe it was 189 bucks. I'll post the link in the video. So without further ado, let's do this. All right, folks. So what I'm not going to do is bore you with footage of me uninstalling the passenger side front seat and the bench in the back seat. I just wanted to point out that this is where the current recoil amp is terminated to, the battery positive cable, and that's the wire loom. And if I can stay out of the shot, you can see it's going to back. And I'm going to actually dress all this up because it's just kind of laying in here. So you can see that it's going through that grommet in the back. So what I'm trying to decide right now is there enough room? And I really believe there is enough room to run both cables. This is a 4 gauge that's in here, and there's a 10 gauge for the subwoofer. So I think I can run them both in here. So anyway, I'm going to detach the battery, uninstall the seats, and move forward. So this is the fuse for the power wire for the subwoofer. So I'm just going to tie this down in this location so I don't lose it.
mentioned earlier, I believe I should be able to run both of these wires in the grommet. Now I'm just going to run knee. Back there. You can never use too much tape. That's it. When you use objects that have points on them, you just got to understand that there's wire harnesses in here. I just know from working on this, my car and other cars in the Toyota line, that there's really nothing in here other than the one that's sitting right there. So that's my recoil DI 1800. .4 125 watt RMS amp. I have that coming from the RCA outs of the joying head unit, and it's snaked under the console down to here, and my 4 channels are coming in, and I didn't do any speed wire or anything. I just ran independent connections to my speakers. So these are the speakers. This is power, positive. The blue is remote turn on wire, which I mentioned in the open, and then the ground. So I haven't done this in quite a few years, so I was a little rusty, but while I have everything taken apart, I think I'm going to clean it up a bit. So, and here's the rod, the drill bit that I poked through, and I'm just going to commence to pulling the wire through the grommet in the firewall. Ta-da! So what I did for the amp is I didn't run the wire in this chase here. I just ran the power wire right along in this crease and then over. So I'll probably do the same. I'll just run the power wire for the subwoofer right along this crease in the carpet, up the back, and then out into the trunk. So here we go. So there's a funny thing that just happened. So I pulled these panels off because I'm going to run the wire in this crease in the carpet, but I have to remove these panels to get to the carpet because it's tucked underneath. And what just happened is I pulled them off, then I realized I'm not really sure how much detail. I'm new to content creation, so I'm not sure how much detail to include or exclude from the video, assuming people know things they may not know. So just in the presence of theory, I just snapped them. I just put them back in place so that you can see that these need to come off in order for me to get for me to get to the carpet. So, and then what I'll do is just pull the carpet up like so, and then I'll just run the new power wire attached to this rod. I'm just going to run it. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull it all the way through now. But yeah, I'm going to run it from here to the back. So I'm new to, social media and content. So I'm going to have a couple of little minor blunders. So just excuse that. So as you can see, I'm not standing out in the blocking my shot. It's almost perfect. And I think there's enough space to fit both of these in here. I'll figure that out later. Yeah, almost perfect. So what I'm gonna do is just tape the remote turn on wire and just pull them both up and through here. And what I did is I situationally positioned the subwoofer in the back. Now I just show you, but I positioned it so when the wires come through, it'll accept the wires along the right side. So, and you come back. It's not permanently mounted, but it's staged just for me to be able to, you know, just do a guesstimate on where the wires should come through. I have some fabric and stuff that I'm going to lay all in here. I'm probably going to lay fabric along in the well. I have some different things that, let me show you real quick. So, I have this fabric here, and it's pretty nice. It's like felt. It is felt, and yeah, it's maybe 3-4 centimeters. This is actually the same exact material they use for packing. It's actually what's in the doors. This is the padding that's comes OEM in the floor. I put this in the door panels when I ran the 6x9 speakers. That's filled all the way on the interior part of the door, on the inside of the membrane. You don't want to put anything that can attract mold and mildew in the cavity that's exposed to the weather, because rain does get inside the cavity. There are drains on the bottom of doors, but yeah, it's been about, I don't know, about 6 or 8 months and no problems. I have that all stuffed in the doors for sound deadening. And then this blue stuff I am going to put in the base of the well. So I'm going to put that down in the bottom of the well. I'm not sure now that I'm thinking about it. I might put the fabric in the bottom of the wheel well and use this inside the opening of the wheel, and then that'll prevent any vibration. This subwoofer does have a rubber base, grommet type thing, but anything you can do to eliminate vibration noise, you should do it. So that's it. If you're wondering why the amp is moving so easily, is I actually have it velcroed to the carpet with a big 4x6 piece of velcro, because no need to drill. You don't have to. It ain't going nowhere, and it's under the seat, so. Oh, make sure you run it back behind stuff, panels, because I've done that before. Had the thing all done, ready to button up. And I think it was one of these side pillars, and I forgot to tuck it behind. I was so angry at myself. I started snapping panels back in place already. It was all in my mind. It was all done. I was so mad at myself. Something I wouldn't have done years ago. like I said earlier, sometimes you get rusty when you don't do this every day. I don't know why I do this, but I try to avoid using the wire management in cars. This is something I've always, I don't know, this is just a quirky thing. I mean, I always think of, well, what if I need it later for something else? It'll be there. If I could just make it easier for myself now and just run stuff, but that scenario of needing it later has never happened. Well, I had to get my brother-in-law and son to help snake the wire through. This is a pretty cool plunger type snake. They come in handy. The only thing is you need 2 hands. You need somebody to fasten it on one end while the person with the plunger pushes the plunger in, which opens these prongs. So it's kind of a 2-man job sometimes. But that's what we use to snake it through. And lo and behold, I mean, I was worried. I mean, that's pretty tight. But it works. It's in there. So gonna keep it moving. This is the remote I mentioned in the opening. It has gain, bass boost, your low pass filter. I think I forgot that in the opening. And then which phase, what direction you want the woofer to pump. So I'm going to run this to the front. I was going to just leave it mounted in the back and just set it to like a general set point, but I don't know. I like having control. And this is like a RJ type plug, like a Ethernet plug, and just to protect it I'm just going to wrap it while I'm running it because I don't want the clip to break. Funny thing is I worked in telecom before. I could probably re-terminate it if I needed to, but why worry about that? Whoops, I'm running the wrong end. This is going to plug into, this end's going to plug into the speaker. This goes up front. So I snaked the wire for the remote control from the back. I pulled up the carpet. There's a tab here. I popped the tab, pulled it up under the carpet, and here's the remote. So I'm going to, I think there's a crease somewhere along here. I'm gonna pop it into that crease, and I'm gonna just, I don't know if I'm gonna install it in the middle console or just leave it free. I don't know. Put Velcro on the back, have it on the side of the console. I'm not really sure yet, but the point is that it's running. I mentioned in the opening that my head unit is a single channel RCA sub out, and these are dual cables. So I only have this coming out of the back of the head unit, and this is on the other end, and this is what's going to, let me get the wire. So these would be the RCA in through this terminal into the subwoofer. So what I'm going to have to do is augment this cable, basically making it a Y, taking the blue and the black circuits and combining them into one, and that'll be my single sub out. This will now be one going into these two. So I'm going to pause the video while I get that all set up, and we'll commence from there. I don't know where it cut off, but this is going to be my sub out from the head unit. This is going to be the inputs that are going to go into the subwoofer. important to run it like underneath stuff, and just make sure you're looking out for things like this. Just put this back. Now I have to address this. For some reason I forgot the bracket that connects this to this. It wasn't until like years ago, years after I installed it, I realized, hey, you didn't put the bracket that connects the AC controls to the speaker. So I do have them. I'm gonna do some housekeeping while I have this thing taken apart. So this is where I am so far. I'm trying to think of what else I need to run. Let's move to the back. I just realized I'm gonna have to probably pull these panels, because I'm gonna need a ground back here. So these panels are gonna have to come out. I'm gonna have to find a bolt or something. These pins pop out. I never took this apart, so that's pretty easy. Feels like there's a pin right there. I can make a ground back here somewhere. All right, something left for me to do. Good afternoon, my peeps. I hope you all had a fine evening. It's the next day, and I alluded in the previous session that I was getting a little winded, plus it was getting chilly outside. Mother Nature's not really playing well with me, so I just wanted to just tidy things up. So what I did is I test taped all my cables off camera before I shot this segment of the video. These are high level inputs. I don't need these. These are if you have a factory stereo head unit, you could convert your high level inputs by taking these these two pairs, and attaching them to your deck speakers, and the system will convert the mid to high levels to low levels just for bass. So I don't need these because I'm using the RCA inputs, which is the sub out from my head unit. This is the connection that's going to the remote, and I found a good ground. I was going to ground it back over here, but I metered it, and the ohm meter was off the charts. It was like basically not connected. It was in the 30s, and I got barely 1 ohm connecting it right to the wheel well. So this is all that's left, right? So this is my remote, and this I can't, there's not enough length to plug it in, but this would go here. And well, I lied, it's not all that's left. I have to run the power cable in the bay, the engine bay. Then that's all that's left. So I'm gonna pause the video here. I'm gonna run the power in the engine bay and let you see the final dressing. And I'm gonna come back on a nicer day and do the fabric and everything. It's a little nippy out here. Hey peeps, just finished running the wiring. As you can see, I dressed up the wire loom, and I put some tie wraps up there. Gotta snip those off later. And I cleaned up the wire, both wires going into the firewall. The subwoofer is attached to the yellow 10 gauge connection, and that's it. Everything's looking good. I just have to it's cold out, so I'm not gonna go too crazy like I mentioned on the fabric and things. So I'm going to hook up everything, connect the negative to the battery terminal, and then we're going to do our music. Oh my gosh. First and foremost, I'd like to say that I fully understand that this is not a competition level system. I totally get that. The sound pressure level is nowhere near what the competition system setup would sound like. However, I am very impressed with how this came out. I was unimpressed when I first installed it, but I realized I hadn't gone in and set up my high pass filters and my gains. My gains were set up on my amp on the floor, but I didn't set the gains up on here, and coincidentally, I pretty much got them turned up all the way. And this is the controller for the subwoofer. But that being said, after I got everything set up, I was quite impressed. So I have some, hopefully, copyright-free music queued in, but just to go into my sub out on my head unit, and I have to do a video on this head unit. It's a Joying aftermarket head unit that was set up to replace my Toyota OEM infotainment system, but it has a lot of bells and whistles to it. As you can see, I have a sub out. I can set my low pass filter, which I have set to 20 hertz. My high pass is set to cut off at 80 hertz. For those that don't know, those are the different frequency levels that your sound are set up for. So it has a lot of bells and whistles. I'm not gonna lie. Nice 16 band equalizer. I can do phase balancing, surround. It has a DSP on board. I can also set the back horns at different frequencies and pressure levels. It's a really nice setup. So, and I'll probably do a video just exclusively on this because I have to go back in here and clean it up. The wiring. So let me go find some content-free music, and I found this. Hopefully I don't get a strike, and we're just gonna see. I'm gonna turn it down. We're gonna gradually turn the volume up. Subwoofer just rounds out the bottom. It is a very nice complement to the front stage, which are my door and rear deck speakers. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to disconnect the front stage, and we're just going to listen to the bass. Hopefully the mic picks it up. I'm only using my phone, so I'm not certain how good the sound quality will be. I'm going to unplug the RCAs for the front stage, and we're just going to listen to the subwoofer, and I'll step back there. I'm not sure how much it's picking up. You can still hear some trouble because for some reason the signaling still goes to the tweeter, so you hear some slight trouble coming out of the dash tweeters. The rest of the bass is coming from the rear stage subwoofer. Pop the trunk, and then we're just gonna go check it out. Woo! So as you can hear, I think the sound is very impressive. I'm very happy with the outcome of this installation. I hope some people out there who are just novice to the industry enjoyed this video. I hope you can use it as a reference to you setting up your system. I just want to take this opportunity. I wrote this down before I forgot to give shout outs. I want to give a shout out to RAV4 Gen 5, Project DIY for doing their dyno tests of the recoil amplifier, recoil audio, car audio fabricators, and Robot Underground. Without all you content creators, and not just the ones that I mentioned, none of this would be possible. And I really appreciate all the information that you guys provide. It's a learning experience. Some things I did have in my repertoire and I knew what to do already. Some things I did learn from watching videos. And let's just keep this social media and this DIY content flowing forever. Thanks a bunch, y'all, and I really appreciate you hanging in with me during this video.